And we are live. Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Edward Araujo, President and founder of Texas Consumer Credit Services, and also author of this book right here, Credit Decoded. If you guys see the title right here, Credit Repair Exposed. So I wanted to get on tonight and talk about credit repair. I was involved in a few conversations earlier and speaking with some colleagues, and this may be a little bit of a rant tonight, but I think this is super important information that everyone should know, especially if you're in the real estate industry, real estate agents, mortgage lenders. This affects all of us, and it's super important. So first of all, I get asked a lot of times, or people approach me, ask, is credit repair actually legal? And the answer is yes, 100%. It is, when done correctly, ethically, and legally. Now, like in any industry, you have a lot of bad apples, but you have a lot of people out there that are really doing good work and helping consumers every day. So the first thing I want to get into, and bear with me, guys, I'm trying out this new program here, so I hope it works here. Okay. All right. So first of all, can you hear me? Hey, Desiree. All right. Okay, so first off, anyone that deals, that is repairing someone's credit in the state of Texas has to be registered and bonded with the Texas Secretary of State, okay? I see posts all the time, and a lot of times I see people that actually aren't registered or bonded. So this is super important. Okay, if you're going to go and get someone to help you with anything, if you're going to go get your hair cut, if you're going to hire a real estate agent, well, obviously you want that person to be licensed, bonded, registered, whatever they need to be to perform that type of work. And the same thing goes with credit repair. Okay, you wouldn't go with an attorney just because they said they read a lot of books, but they haven't passed the bar. So an easy way to find out if a company you're dealing with is actually licensed, bonded, or registered is to look them up at the Texas Secretary of State. So I'm going to try to go ahead and share this real quick here. See if it comes up. Okay, it did. Okay, so really quick here on this website right here, and I'll try to post the link here actually in the chat, maybe if it will let me. You can go in and search. You would want to put in El Paso or whatever city you're in and search active, and you'll find out in there if the company is actually registered, if they're in good standing, and if they're bonded. If you're dealing with the credit repair service that is not in that list, they're operating illegally. Okay, now I don't mean this as trying to bash anyone in particular. I'm just out here to educate you all, the consumers, so they don't get hurt. What happens when you hire someone to do credit repair, they have to get a power of attorney to contact credit bureaus, creditors, whoever it may be on your behalf. And if they're doing things they're not supposed to, because there's a lot of things that I see out there nowadays that so-called credit repair companies and specialists do that a lot of times are blatantly illegal. Okay, if they're doing something with a power of attorney on your behalf, that sometimes come back on the client. Okay. Also, lately we're the only company in El Paso that is NACSO recognized. That's the National Association of Credit Services Organizations. Okay. And we're in Washington. NACSO's in Washington, and I'm updated, and I'm really involved with the ever-changing laws and everything that's going on. And there's a lot of things happening, guys. The CFPB, FTC, a lot of times is cracking down on these companies, and there's people going to jail. That's the truth, guys. I've seen it. Okay. And the last thing I want is for that to happen to anyone, obviously. And the last thing you want as a real estate agent or as a mortgage lender is to lose a license or whatever the case may be. It's not worth it, guys, over a deal. Okay, so I also want to go over a couple of red flags. So one of the red flags is we are regulated by what's called, bring it up here, CROA. This is the Credit Repair Organizations Act. This is federal law that basically regulates our industry and outlines what we can and can't do and how we can do it. Okay, so charging a flat fee upfront is a direct violation of CROA. Okay, so what that means is if someone just charges someone $500, $1,000, $1,500, they pay them up front to do credit repair, guess what, guys? That's illegal. Okay. Now, some places will charge a fee, like we charge an audit fee. It's a one-time audit fee when we start, but that is actually going to be for an audit that we do on the credit report, an actual tangible report that the client gets, specifying everything we found in the credit report, what we're going to be fighting, how we're going to be fighting it, an education section, okay? And then after that, our main plans now are a monthly service fee plan, but we also have plans where we only charge for items that have been deleted or removed. And that's actually the way it's supposed to be billed. In credit repair, you can only bill for services rendered. So if you guys see that, that's a red flag. And I say that because just because they're licensed and bonded doesn't necessarily mean that they are operating within the law. It just means that they've filed the proper paperwork and bonded and licensed. Okay, so CROA is federal law. Now there's state law as well. So the Texas Financial Code has its own things set out for what they call CROs, credit repair organizations, which is what you look for when you search the Secretary of State. And in there it says that we cannot put a client in a contract for longer than 6 months. Okay. Now, us personally, we don't put a client in a contract for any amount of time. It's a month-to-month service, because think of the logic. Every case is different. Every situation is different. Every client is different. I don't know if it's going to take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Our average time frame is about 6 months, but we've had clients ready in 2 months. Some take 9 months. What they mean by a contract is you can't put a client in saying, okay, you're going to pay this for 12 months. Okay, you can put them in for 6 months. At the 6th month, if they need some more work, they can sign an addendum or continue service. Or what we just do is we just do month to month. Okay, so that's also something to look out for. Now, another thing that I see out there is credit repair companies basically telling clients to commit fraud. Okay, if you dispute something on your credit report as not mine and it is yours, you just committed fraud. Okay. Now, if the account really isn't yours, if it's your brother's, if it's a case of identity theft or a merged file, then by all means. But I'm on different forums, on different groups, and telling people to dispute not mine, everything not mine, send it off to the credit bureaus. Guess what? Sometimes things will come off. Okay. A lot of times they'll come back on. But the point is you're committing fraud. Okay. There's cases where they're telling clients or consumers to claim identity theft. There's cases down in Florida where it involved a credit repair specialist. Police officers were actually involved, and they were filing false identity theft reports because credit bureaus take identity theft serious. And when you're claiming that, you can get items deleted. But again, you're committing fraud, guys. Okay. With credit repair, there is no shortcut. It's plain and simple. Just like losing weight, there's no magic pill. There's no anything. Credit repair is a needed service. We help consumers every day, but it has to be done the right way, ethically, and legally. In a nutshell, what credit repair, guys, is just enforcing consumer rights against the credit bureaus and creditors and making sure that they're following the law. If you have a Verizon account that is yours and you didn't pay it, we're not going to say it's not yours. We're not going to say that you paid it or not, but we're going to audit that account. And 9 times out of 10, we can find violations that the creditors have done, that the credit bureaus have done. And you have the right as a consumer to fight that for deletion. Another thing that I hear where they tell people is that if it gets deleted, it's like, we got 10,000 dollars worth of debt deleted from that credit report. You didn't delete the debt. You deleted the item from reporting on that credit report. That consumer still owes that debt. That item just can't be on their credit report legally anymore and can't be used against them in a credit decision, and it won't be shown when they pull their credit report. It's been legally dismissed. But guess what? If they owe that debt and it's still within the 4 years of statute of limitations, they can potentially be sued. So your client should be made aware of that. Okay. Now we're going to get to one of my favorite ones. I don't know if you guys can read what it says right there, but it says trade lines. So I hear this all the time. And sometimes I don't know if I'm even tired of talking about it or talking to people about it, but trade lines. So what trade line? A trade line by definition is a line item on your credit report, right? Credit card, a loan, whatever the case may be. So 30% of your credit score is balance and burden / indebtedness / utilization. So some people have a thin file, or they have their credit cards maxed out, or they don't have any age. So knowing that that's a big part of your credit score, they're like kind of a black market, an underground market came up, and they basically sell you trade lines. Okay, what do I mean by that? They go and they find people that have credit cards in good standing, low balances, perfect payment history, or very good payment history, and they have some age on them, and they tell that person, hey, we'll pay you $500 for every person you let us add onto that credit card as an authorized user. Okay? And then they turn around and they find consumers that can benefit from that. It will definitely boost your credit score. It's a big part of credit score. And say, hey, we'll charge you $800, $900, $1,000, $2,000. We're going to add you to these credit cards. And guess what? Your score is going to go up almost overnight. Whenever that card reports, your score is going to go up. Okay? Sounds awesome, right? Illegal, guys. Straight and blatantly illegal. And I don't want to bash anyone. I know it happens here locally in El Paso. I know it happens throughout Texas, Florida, California. I've been telling people this for a long time, and I've seen cases people are getting in trouble. As they're construing it. It can be construed as mortgage fraud. If y'all don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Anybody who wants this, I'll go ahead and send this to you. This is directly from Fannie Mae right here. Okay? And they're talking about mortgage fraud, credit profile numbers, and authorized use of seasoned trade lines. Okay? It says trade lines which the consumer can purchase authorized user rights are displayed on the websites detailing the age of the credit account, the limit, and the availability for purchase. Okay? Right here, guys. If you do that and you're trying to circumvent the system, it's mortgage fraud. Plain and simple. Okay? If they're even getting to the point, they're not playing with this stuff, guys. CFPB and everybody. I know cases. I'm in a lot of mastermind groups with some of the top credit repair companies in the nation and owners and advocates. They're even getting people on RICO. I don't know if anyone knows what RICO is, but it's basically it's organized crime. It's racketeering. The realtor's involved, the mortgage lender's involved, the credit repair specialist is involved. Guys, if you see trade lines, run away, please. It's not worth it. Now, just because you don't get caught or it's been done for a long time doesn't change the fact that it's illegal and that it's fraud. Remember, there's no shortcut. There's plenty of ways. We have resources. I can send you guys resources to where you can add your own primary trade line to start reestablishing your credit. You won't get the age with it, obviously, but that's part of it. Now, if you have, and it outlines it here in this report also, one of the things that I do recommend clients is if they have a thin file or something like that, if you have a spouse, if you have a family member, a friend, you can get added to their credit card. And it'll show up as the AU, an authorized user on your credit report, and it will definitely improve your credit score. Now, what Fannie Mae is saying here, it says that the borrower can provide written documentation that he or she has been the actual and sole payer of the monthly payment, or that they can prove that they're within an arm's length. It can be the borrower's spouse. You just have to basically know that person and can prove that. everybody can get in trouble for the selling and purchasing of these trade lines from the credit repair company. Guys, I've seen realtors and mortgage lenders get in trouble for this. Okay. All right. So enough of that. Sorry about that. It just, I'm real passionate about this stuff, guys. And when I see this stuff happening, not that it affects my business directly, but it affects the industry. It affects you guys. And, so I think this information should be out there. Okay. That was mortgage fraud. Okay. That's pretty much all I had. I wanted to jump on real quick and put that out there because day in and day out, I see a lot of this stuff, and there's a lot of great companies out there also. I'm not even here to advertise my services or anything. I'd be glad to recommend you to other companies if you live in another state, another city. There's great companies out there, but like in anything, there's some bad apples out there that sometimes give the industry a black name. But credit repair is a needed service. It helps thousands, millions of consumers every year. These guys saw what happened with Equifax and the credit bureaus. It's almost like the Wild West out there with them. So just be careful out there, guys. If you guys ever have any questions on anything about credit, credit repair, whatever the case is, feel free to reach out to me. If anybody wants a copy of that Fannie Mae report, shoot me a message. I'll send it out to you. If you want the link for the Texas Secretary of State to be able to search if someone is actually registered and bonded or not, shoot me a PM. I'll be glad to shoot you the link. Anybody have any questions? I always like to do a little bit of Q&A, and I hope I'm still broadcasting live because I have this new program here, and I don't know how long it's supposed to go for. Questions. No? All right. If nobody has any questions, if you do, leave them in the comments. I can try to come back to the video and answer those. Shoot me a PM. Guys, shoot me an email if you want. Edward, EDWARD at TexasConsumerCredit.com. It's all spelled out, TexasConsumerCredit.com. Other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys later.